After 2 decades of marriage, my best friend dropped a truth that shattered everything I thought I knew. He told me that he had slept with my wife the night before our wedding. I told him to get out. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I just looked at him dead in the eyes and told him to leave. Then I drove home, feeling like I wasn't even in my own body. When I got there, she was waiting. My wife, Elena, was sitting in bed reading, completely unaware of the bomb that had just exploded in my life. When she saw my face, she looked confused. But before she could ask what was wrong, I told her, "You cheated on me." Her face went pale. I didn't have to say who told me. She knew. She broke into tears almost instantly. "It was only that one time," she said through sobs. "It didn't mean anything. I was drunk. I never thought we'd even end up together. I forgot all about it." She crawled to the edge of the bed, desperate. "Please, Mark, don't do this. Don't throw everything away over something that happened before we even started our life. We have a family. We have history. Please." I stepped back. Her hands trembled as they reached out for me, her face collapsing in anguish. "Forgive me," she whispered. I looked at the woman I had built a life with for 20 years and said the words I never imagined I'd speak. "I didn't want any of this. But this is your fault." Then I walked away. He was the last person I ever thought would betray me. Sure, we'd had our ups and downs like any couple, but I believed in us. I truly believed nothing could break what we had. Until that night. Jason had seemed off that evening. We were sitting on the porch, passing around a bottle of scotch like we'd done more times than I could count. But he wasn't himself. He wasn't joking around. He didn't talk about work or the game. He just sat there, staring out at the yard like his thoughts were eating him alive. "There's something I have to tell you," he finally said, his eyes locked on the shadows stretching across the grass. I figured it was something about his divorce, or maybe something serious like a health scare. I never in a million years expected what came next. "The night before your wedding," he said, "Elena and we slept together." I stared at him. My brain refused to accept what I had just heard. He wasn't stuttering. He wasn't trying to cushion the blow. He just kept going. "It was one time. We were drunk. It was a mistake. But I've been carrying it for 20 years, and I can't anymore." I got to my feet, not because I was furious just yet, but because I didn't even know how to stand still. I looked at him, this man I had trusted with everything, and suddenly it felt like I was looking at a stranger. Then the anger hit me like a freight train. "Get out, Jason." He didn't argue. He didn't beg. He just walked out, silent. I drove like a ghost. Every memory of the last 20 years flashed through my mind. Elena in her wedding dress, glowing. Elena holding our baby for the first time. Elena gripping my hand during hospital visits when we thought cancer might take me. And Jason, always there in every picture, every major moment. Now, all I could see were fractures. When I got home and confronted Elena, everything came crashing down. She begged. She wept. She told me it meant nothing. That she had forgotten it even happened. That we were barely even a couple at the time. But I couldn't hear any of it. I told her she was the reason we were standing on the edge of collapse. And then I left. I didn't go back home that night. I just drove for hours. I didn't know where I was going, I just needed the road. I drove through empty streets, deserted highways, parking lots with buzzing lights. Eventually, I ended up at a 24-hour diner just off Route 9. I ordered coffee but didn't drink it. I just sat there, staring out the window, trying to make sense of the past 2 decades. 20 years of marriage. Of trust. Of shared burdens. We survived job losses, a miscarriage, a fire that nearly took our home. And all along, the secret was hiding like rot beneath the floorboards. My phone buzzed. It was Elena. I let it ring. Then the texts came, one after another. "Please call me. I'm scared. I never meant to hurt you. I don't even remember why it happened. Are we really going to destroy 20 years because of something that happened before we were married? Think about our kids. Think about everything we've been through. I read every word. And then I powered the phone off. Because forgiveness doesn't live in a text message. The next morning, I showed up to the office looking like I hadn't slept, because I hadn't. My assistant saw me walking, took one glance, and wisely said nothing. I spent the morning staring at screens I couldn't process. The numbers blurred. The words in my inbox meant nothing. I was present in body only, moving through the office like a ghost. Around noon, I got up, grabbed my keys, and left without telling anyone where I was going. I didn't even know myself until I was already halfway to Jason's place. His truck was gone when I pulled up. The porch looked just as it always had, familiar and ordinary. But something about it felt hollow. Still, I walked up and knocked. The door creaked open, and there he stood, eyes sunken, face pale like I had drained the color out of his world. "Why now?" I asked, my voice flat, tired. He lowered his gaze. Couldn't even meet my eyes. "I couldn't keep carrying it," he said quietly. "Every time you talked about Emily, about her future wedding, I kept thinking, what if she went into that day without knowing who she was really marrying, like you did?" I didn't say a word. Not because I didn't feel anything, but because I wasn't angry, not in the explosive way I'd been. I was evaluating, measuring the damage. "You stole something from me," I finally said. "And I don't know how to see your face again without remembering that." He gave a slight nod. "If you want me gone, I'll disappear." "No," I said, calm but certain. "You won't vanish. You'll stay right here, and you'll witness everything that follows." He looked puzzled. But I didn't offer more. I was already working away. That night, I met with my kids. Just the three of us. No Elena. I needed them to hear this from me, not from whispers or someone else's version. We sat on the same benches we used to pile onto after paddle boat rides, back when scraped knees and cotton candy were their biggest concerns. I found out yesterday. She never told me. For 20 years, I lived in a lie. Emily looked like she was teetering between sobs and rage. So what happens now? A few weeks later, Noah encouraged me to attend a local community talk. "You need to get out of the house, Dad," he said. "Even if it's just to hear someone else speak for once." So I went. Not because I felt ready, but because I was curious. The speaker was a woman named Rachel, a trauma therapist who'd written a book about rebuilding after betrayal. She didn't sugarcoat anything. She spoke clearly, without bitterness, and with a strength I hadn't seen in a long time. After her talk, I thanked her for being so open. She smiled and said, "The only way forward is to stop asking why they hurt you, and start asking what you're going to do with the life you've still got." That night, for the first time in years, I slept without waking. Ellen once told me that someday I'd blame her for everything. And maybe, for a while, I did. But I don't anymore. I just see her for what she was, someone who couldn't face the truth. So she handed me a life built on silence, then left me to carry the weight of all the noise. But I'm not carrying it anymore. My revenge wasn't destroying her name or turning people against her. It wasn't what happened in court or the fallout she had to face. My revenge was becoming the kind of man she could no longer reach. The kind she no longer deserved. And in that, I found peace, quietly, entirely.